Well, the day has come to finally change out my drivetrain. I've been wanting and needing to do this for quite a long time. I finally assembled all the parts I need to do it, so let's get to it. As for the parts I got, I went with a set of race face chain rings. While the Dura-Ace ones are super light and look cool and say Dura-Ace on them and everything, they're also super expensive, so I picked up this set for like 25 bucks. Same sizes. This is a 53 big, 39 small. Same size as this, and I wish really that I could go to compact or mid-compact gearing, but this crank is a 130 millimeter bolt circle, and I think all those other rings have a smaller bolt circle, so I'd have to get new cranks, which of course is more money, so that's not going to happen. So those are the chain rings. Those are pretty easy to swap out. For the chain, I chose a KMC X10SL, and I went with KMC because they use their Magic Link or whatever it's called, and everybody kind of has their own special name for it. I think SRAM uses the same sort of deal, but instead of having to fiddle with a master link and pressing it in with your chain tool, this is an old Dura-Ace chain or Shimano, so you have to like get the special pin and put it in there and press it in and make sure it's all right, and it's such a hassle, so it makes it so much easier. Anyway, that's why I went with that one. It's supposed to be fairly light too. For the sprocket, got a brand new sprocket to go with brand new everything else. Finally, I've never had a brand new sprocket, believe it or not. Up to an Ultegra 10-speed, because I'm still in 10-speed. This one's an 1128. I really considered going to the 1230 because I could use slightly lower gearing, but I wasn't sure if my derailleur could handle a 30-tooth. If you know any better, please let me know, because maybe next time I can go with the 30-tooth. But for now, that's what I got. I don't know how many miles I have on this. I'll have to look it up when I go back in, but these chain rings I had on there since I got the bike, so those are old for sure. Chain is very old as well and all worn out, as I will show you in a minute. The cassette I actually got used because the rest of the stuff was used when I needed a new cassette, and I wanted it kind of all to wear together. So that is a Dura-Ace cassette on there currently. A new Dura-Ace is like 170 bucks. This one was only 50, so $120 for like 40 grams. Well, we'll find out exactly what the weight savings is on a Dura-Ace versus Ultegra when I take it apart. But anyway, those are the parts, so let's get to it. Okay, so a quick note on chain wear. So the term chain stretch is used to define how worn out a chain is. And while it is technically getting longer, it's not actually stretching. Here's what's happening. So there's inner plates and outer plates, and they're connected by two pins, okay? The center pin is represented by this flashlight here, and then there's the outer pin has a hole, right? So the inner pin goes in the hole, and when everything's new and good, they fit nice and snug together, and it rotates around and everybody's happy. Well, as those surfaces wear over time, this inner diameter wears out and gets larger. So I got a larger wrench to show that. So now with the larger worn out links there, now there's this play in between them. So now when the two are pulled apart, you can see there's some movement there. And if you multiply that small movement in one link by all these links, it adds up to the chain, quote-unquote, stretching out. So in a brand new chain, the distance of one full link is exactly 1 inch, right? So distance between pins is ½ an inch, one full link, inner and outer, 1 inch exactly. So a general guideline of how much you want your chain to, quote-unquote, stretch is that you want to replace it when it has about a 1/16 of an inch over 12 links. So a 1/16 of an inch over 12 inches, right? And that's just kind of a general guideline. Maybe you could go to 3/32, But when it gets to 1/8 of an inch, you're definitely starting to wear out your other parts. So on the chain rings and the cassette also, there's some tolerances built in so that when there is some wear on the chain, it can accommodate the chain being a little bit longer before it starts to wear these surfaces. But if you let it go too far, now the distance between links is greater than the distance between the teeth, and the teeth starts to wear on this edge here. And you can see how it's kind of scalloped out. My chain rings and cassette are also worn because I didn't change my chain soon enough. And to give you an idea how stretched this chain is, I will do a measurement now. I'm just going to leave this here. You won't be able to see down on the other side. But I'm going to hold it up right up against the one. I'm going to use a tape measure. Voila. So I'm holding up the one right in the very center of the link down on the left side here. And if I go over 12 inches, which would be 13, you can see right there that link is 13 1/8, indicating the chain is worn too much and I should have replaced it a while back. So now I get to also replace my chain rings and my cassette because I let my chain wear too much. So replacing the chain is super easy. All you gotta do is find the link, break that link off, take the chain off. Let's do that real quick. Bye bye old chain. Okay, so I've removed some extra links to make the chain the same length, or at least the same number of pins as my old chain. That's done by using the chain breaker tool. You just push the pin out with it, then pull off this extra section of chain. So new chains come in, this one was 116 links and I was using 108. So what I've done, I've laid out, and here's another good visual for you here, new chain and old chain, and I lined them up so you can see. So this is the same exact number of pins. So they start at the start over there, and as I go along you can see that the old one gets longer and longer and longer. All those little gaps that I was showing you earlier end up making the old chain almost a full link, or half an inch longer than the old one. So talk about chain stretch. There you go, so it's about half an inch longer over the long haul. So that's why I need to replace your chain, because it wears out and it stretches kind of like that. Okay, so here's yet another, hopefully, good visual of chain wear. So new chain, if I pull it back and forth, you don't see any movement in the links between each other. But check out the old one here. Can you see and hear that? There's a good one there. That is how worn out it is. So this is just between two links, so multiply that by 108. That's how stretched out it is. Again, new one doesn't do that at all, right? Old one, super worn out. See that play in the chain? Yikes. Chain rings also super easy to take off. Just undo the 5 bolts, pop them right off. That is so light and dirty. There we go, little chain off. Now, taking up the cassette is pretty easy. All you need is a cassette tool, like this guy. It has little teeth on it. Engages into those teeth, like that. And you just hold on to the sprocket and unbolt it, so I'll take that off real quick. There is the old, dirty, worn out Dura-Ace cassette. And we'll get the new one out of the box, check out their weights, and pop that new guy on. So here again is the new cassette I got, Ultegra 10-speed 1128. I'm going to get it out of the box, we're going to put it on the wheel. The same kind of look to them. Same design. Only difference is the old one had a 27 tooth large and this has a 28, so I got one more tooth here for a little bit lower gearing. Now comes the fun part for me, weighing them. So I've got old one here. This is the Dura-Ace 1127. Here's the new shiny. This is an Ultegra 1128. And just for fun, I pulled out my old SRAM red. This is a 1126. So just for comparison purposes, let's put the old Dura-Ace cassette on, see what it weighs. About 184 grams. That's the Dura-Ace one. The new Ultegra, which definitely feels heavier, 231. That's 50 grams more approximately. And just for fun, throw this SRAM red on here. This one feels pretty light. 170. So that one's pretty light. A little lower gearing, but it broke. And while we got the scale out, let's weigh the chain rings. Here's the big ring, new and old. It's a little ring, new and old. And I also got the two chain ring bolt sets, so there's ones that were on it. These are the ones that came in the race base, so of course I'm going to use the lighter ones. So let's see where we are. The original Dura-Ace, and this is a piece of machinery here. This, look how hogged out that is. It's super thin and light. It's amazing that you can transfer that much torque through this thin piece of aluminum and it stands up to it. But it's a good piece of engineering here. Anyway, let's see what it weighs. I can just peek under there. 92 grams for the big ring. New big ring from Race Face. Doesn't feel that much heavier. It's a little thicker. It's got these cool little ramps built into the back there to help the chain get up on the ring while shifting. Let's weigh this guy. It is 109. So that's not too much more actually. Old Dura-Ace small ring, 39 tooth. That one is 38 grams. And the new Race Face 39 tooth little ring, 36. Wow, that one's actually lighter. Cool. And as far as the bolts go, here are the 5 bolts that were on the crank. Those weigh in at a very light 10 grams for those guys. And the ones that came in the Race Face set feel a little heavier already. Whoa, a lot heavier. They're 24 grams, so they're twice as heavy. Granted, it's only 14 grams, but I think I'll use the lighter Dura-Ace ones. Now it's time to put the new cassette on, and that's pretty straightforward. You just got to line the little notches to the free hub body. Slide all the gears on and then tighten it up. Shining new cassette. Okay, so I've got it back up on the workbench here, and I'm going to put on the chainring soon, but first I want to kind of show you what chainring wear looks like. So let's take a look down here. So small ones first. Here's the old small one, and you can see up in this area how it's just all worn out. Kind of both sides. Actually, if you flip it over, you can see a little bit better. See the little kind of ridges here and here, there, and all along, where it's just not a nice round shape anymore. And in comparison to that, here's the new one. Nice, clean looking shape. So, old worn out. There's the new small ring. And it's even more dramatic on the big ring, because I guess I tend to ride in the big ring more often around here on all the road rides. But you can just look at those, look how sharp the teeth are. They're like shark teeth. They're actually pretty sharp. And again, you can see it's not a circle pattern, it's worn out and rounded off at the top, and then same thing on the back side. You can really see right here. Point with this guy. You can really see it right here how it's just totally worn out, right? There. Completely gone. And as a comparison to that, here's the new one. Night and day difference, right? Check out the difference. So, take the time to maintain your parts, and they'll last you a lot longer. Okay, so let's get these chain rings put on. So quick little note about putting the rings on. They both have a little indicator showing you that it needs to go in a certain direction, orientation. So the little ring has a little bump right here. That's going to go under the crank arm. And then same thing with the big ring. It's got a little bump sticking up that goes also in line with the crank arm. And that's so that if there's any sort of shifting ramps or whatever, like there are on this one, that they're lined up between the two. So again, I'm going to use the lighter bolts that were on it already. So let's throw the chain rings on. Okay, that's done. Now the last thing to do is put the chain on, and I'm going to do that right now. And this chain is a non-directional, so that means it can go on either way, it doesn't matter. I know some Shimano chains, in fact I think that Dura-Ace chain that I had on there had an outside and an inside, so you had to put it on a certain direction, but this one is perfectly symmetric on both sides, so it doesn't matter. So I'm going to get the new chain, wrap it around, and then I'll move in a little so you can see. Oh, by the way, it's called the missing link. It comes with a little instruction book. Here's the two little pieces. So we're going to wrap the chain around, and then all you have to do is put these in there, and you're done. No tools required. Really awesome. Really easy to do. So let's put the chain on. So here's that missing link coming together. So it's two of the exact same little guys. So one on one side, and then one in the other side. Kind of a mirror image of the first one. Then all I have to do is bring those two together like that. Okay, so I've got it started and connected. I got to put a little pedal force on it to actually snap it together. Okay, so I've brought it around to the top so I can put some pedal force on it. So here it is right here. See, it's not fully pulled out yet. Just gotta make sure you get both pins in and even on both sides. Then you put some pedal pressure on it, and it should pop right in. There. See that click? Now it is ready to go. It's as easy as that. Putting the chain on. Love it. As soon as I clicked it on, I realized I forgot to weigh the chain. So thank goodness for the missing link. So I was able to take it right back off and weigh these two chains for you guys. So this is my old, it was a Dura-Ace. Shimano has 108 links, I believe. New KMC X10SL, same number of links, exactly the same number of links. So let's weigh these two and see how they compare. Okay, the old dirty one is 225 for old super worn out dirty chain, and the new one is, including the missing links, 234. So it's slightly more, probably because it's not all totally worn out. So there you go. It's 225 old worn out, 234 brand new. So I mentioned I took the missing link off and put it back on. This is kind of how I did it. I'm not going to do it again because they say you're only supposed to do that 3 times. I don't want to wear it out more than I have to, but let's say you wanted to take it off. It's really easy. You just find it. Okay, get some slack on the chain, kind of like that, and take the link, So you get the missing link like that. And then all you have to do is take some needle nose, or there's actually a special tool for this, but you don't have it. Just get some needle nose and you just squish right there real hard and it'll pop out. But again, I don't want to do it again because I already did it. So anyway, that's how you would take it off if you had to. But alright, so we've got everything buttoned back up again. Got it on the bike stand, ready for some, just make sure the shifting's good, and get some lube on the chain, and I'm ready for a ride. And man, let me tell you, it's so much less drag on the drivetrain now. When I used to spin it, it used to like barely go. And now it's just smooth sailing. So wow, I can't wait to ride it tomorrow and see what the difference is. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed seeing the drive chain swap out. And as always, enjoy your rides.